Yo, what's up, everybody? How's it going today? Hope everybody's having a good day. Just making sure everything's working good. We have two settings right now set up. So we have the guide here, and then we have the stream here, and then we also have this scene, so that we'll have the bigger screen and then the smaller guide. So we'll start with the guide. Take a look at the new stuff here. So this is kind of just some of the old stuff there. This is from the first guide, the zero guide, a little bit of the refinery state. 40 years into the climate wars, population and pollution levels skyrocket. Cities erect massive refinery states, mega structures built to extract toxins from the stratosphere. So we're looking for space dust. So the currency looks like it's going to be dust. This is a little bit of information from Robert, Sumit, Quinn, and then lots of other people here. So this is kind of just like a little recap of where we started off a little bit, trying to get to where we are now. DEADROP Series 2. The past 6 weeks have been incredible. Getting online PvP multiplayer up and running has allowed us to get to the heart of what DEADROP is all about. Playing every Friday together, diving into deep, granular conversations about gunplay, movement, balancing, and the core gameplay loop has been invaluable. We've taken it We've taken in all the feedback and data that is already implemented major weapon balancing changes with the season 2 or the Snapshot 2.1 patch with season 3. We're introducing the foundation of advanced movements, states, sliding, vaulting, climbing, and ziplining. We're going to go overboard with the opportunities to get around the proving grounds quickly in order to ensure we get lots of use out of those mechanics. We're interested in seeing how fluent movement and quick transitions from high ground to low ground impact the tactical nature of combat. We decided we decide that personality We'll decide the personality of our gunplay together. Robert Bowling. Jeez, I don't know. Bowling sounds more correct. Bowling sounds like there's missing vowels. Midnight Society Studio Head, variant 402, 402. So this is just kind of like some of the feedback that we got there. So satisfied methods, but first nobody was really satisfied, and now we are. Looks like everyone's starting to get a hang of how to give feedback here. Thanks again for playing Snapshot 2 and sharing your thoughts and how you feel about DEADROP's current direction and progress. We'll introduce 2 new ways to share your feedback with us time around. Our new Discord suggestion channel and the Discord bugs channel, where you can easily drop in your updates. That said, our snapshot surveys are still our primary source of feedback. Please be sure to contribute. Gather and reviewing your input is vital to the way the studio works. Yes. Thanks for being a part of the existence with us. Cheers to the new Snapshot release and many more to come. Well, I'm just adding words now. Can't wait to see what you think. Allison, Midnight Society game producer, variant 2234. High Nomad Kilo. Traversal features and movement abilities. So we did get some little hints about the fact that they were trying to improve different ways to move around the map. Scrolled up a little bit too far here. Staying on the move and being able to tactically traverse traverse the refinery state is going to be key to your success. Want to drop to a lower floor quickly, holster your weapon and grab a zip line. Need a direct line to a high point where an enemy is posted up? Find a strategically placed ladder. In addition, variants can now slide into cover, vault over low low walls and clamber up high walls and objects to reach a better position. Explore the new updates with the proving ground to the master of the new flow. So, with that saying, still unfortunately unable to play the new snapshot since my computer is not good enough. And thank you. I appreciate the follow. I did just see that Popcorn Society. Thank you. Welcome in. And I'm so happy that you're hopping into the game now. I'm glad that you're having fun. Unfortunately, I'm unable to play because I don't have an optimal computer to run the game. I only get 8 frames per second. I did manage to win a game though on one game. I decided to load in and see what happens, and unfortunately I couldn't move, but I was still able to just stand there and be in the game, and I ended up winning, which is awesome. I totally just offset that. Shoot. I can't see it. So my computer is having a very hard time loading my like preview screen. So I have to go off of my output screen, which is so stupid, but it's the only way that I can actually see what I'm doing. Um, but in addition, variants can now slide into cover, vault over low walls, or clamber up high wall objects to get a better position. Yeah, I already read all that. Proving ground updates. So they did make some updates there. They got a new healing station locations, it looks like. So you're looking for the blue boxes on the wall. And they added some more loot box locations too, which is always fun because then they add more locations for you to go and get more loot. So that's going to give players a better advantage. Snapshot 3, we're going big on zip lines to monitor usage and gather critical data points from the community. Also, we're introducing strategically placed ladders at high points to improve the core flow of the map and more conducive to the advanced movement states. Health stations are now in more exposed locations, requiring a risk for the reward. Wait, so there might have already been health. Yeah, sorry, there were already health stations, so they're just new locations. Discover all the ways to access your favorite looting spots. The weapon systems and UI UX additions. So as you can see, new concept to the guns, different patterns, different containers, variable to size items. So they're gonna use. Oh, so we'll eventually see what kind of graphic base they're going off of for how big the guns are. So what their dynamic scale is. Once we reach the refiner states, choices matter. What to take when to take it, and organize your backpack will become a crucial part of your looting strategy. We take a major stop in the direction of by introducing the foundation of the weapon systems. I don't know why that was such a delay. Search for a new optic and around Search for new optics around the proving grounds and equip them with any rifles you acquire. So this is just for us to guide us through the map there, guide us through this new build. Each weapon class will now require specific ammo types, so you'll find and use your ammo wisely. So now they finally did smaller bullets and SMG bullets, pistol bullets. This is the first step towards a fully functional weapon bench to the player's hideout that allows for weapon customization and personalization. So here, Refiner State's blueprint. So here, I already did go ahead and translate it. It's here on my phone. It does say refiner state construction materials required, temperature regulator sensors, lift control panel, cleaner advisory warning, harsh weather gear required to access sector 3, construction underway. It's probably a very rough translation because honestly I just did it off of Google, but if we want to do it really quickly, we can do it right now because we do have this guy right here. So if we were to actually look at it here, so is there a way to? There we go. But I can't really read that anymore. Can you guys? Nah, you guys can't really read that at all. But I wish it wasn't. I wish they weren't so offset in sizes. Let's try to go one more in and then zoom down. Yeah, there we go. So we have this guy here, which is R E. So that's going to be at refinery state, construction material required, temperature regulator sensors, lift control panels, cleaner advisory warning, harsh weather, gear required to access sector, harsh weather, gear required to access. Maybe that's that part right there. Access sector. That's three. Three. Construction underway. So it does look like it actually does kind of line up mostly, just following off like key starting points and different points and where it all starts there. All the words line up there. So I do believe that is what it translates to there. And then we do have just a little view into the terms here, what a claw is. So a claw is a mercenary that takes contracts or gigs within refinery states for personnel gain or on behalf of another. I know I read so slow, I do apologize for that. I do have like this thing where I can't read out loud very well. Cleaners, operators of the refiner states, the climate war, an environment global crisis that led to the creation of refiner states. Codex operandi, a cipher developed by variants for cryptic communications between factions. DEADROP, the total collection of unlooted drops from claws. The best drop is claiming by the reigning claw. All others are cleaned. So then the cleaners are going to come and clean up your bodies and then build this dead drop. And then whoever comes out on top is like, here you go, pick what you want or take the whole thing. We don't care. Have fun. And then we have the DRCCSAPM, which is Penny Dreadfuls of an unknown origin. They're little comics with all like makeshift, pictures of Dr. Disrespect on it. The drops, those are the contents of a claw's backpack. So what you can loot there, little bags there you can loot. The embers, weapon manufacturers, modders, and creators for hire. The existence is the total of the Midnight Society reality. Extraction, a safe exit for the proving grounds or refiner states, and a quick way to escape alive with one's drops intact. So like whatever you have the opportunity to leave with it, so you don't have to like lose what you have. Guild eyes. They have talked about a little bit of that. They're not sure how they're going to incorporate it. I don't think yet, but they are guild leaderships and members of enlisting embers in the expansion of the existence. Self-governed refiner states. They are self-governed city states located in dense metropolises designed to extract and refine toxins from the atmosphere. Sectors. They are just large self-contained areas of the refiner state which operate independently from other areas of the tower. Skins. Slang for human combatants of any faction. Space dust, aka dust. We did just talk a little bit of that. Street name for the concentrated extracts of the toxins produced by the refiner states and are sold for a high value amongst organized crime circles. Okay, so never mind. It's not going to be currency. The stash is a collection of drops kept securely in your player's hideout. They say in a hideout, but it's your player's hideout. Sin, slang for a synthetic combatant. Variant, it's me. A high exclusive subculture of the claw within the Midnight Society. VES, which is vertical extraction shooter, a term used by claws and described combat within the refiner states. And then the visor cortex is the unique display of a variant's helmet, which ours is the one that you can see here. That's mine. At the bottom, I am variant Alpha 4 Kilo 4588. That's me. And that's my little guy right there, which is awesome. And then this is a little sneak peek. So they did add some. Looks like they did do a little bit of a weapon additions there. So it looks like we do have some mods and stuff there, but we don't get to see any of that within the guide here. But it does look like over here, actually, you can see it right here. So that's awesome. You can actually see some mods there. So we have like scopes there. They have like stock, it looks like, magazine, barrel, or like the barrel. Scope and different. And then you can see the different ammo types right here. So that's actually going to be really cool. So we're going to look into the actual stream now. Let's switch over to the other screen. Try to follow along as they go through the guide. I know it's a little glitchy here. We're obviously going to whatever you want to call it. 3 minutes, they said. Oh, that's 30 minutes. Let's not jump that because I guess that's like in increments of their 2 hours if I hit 3. So that's like 2 minutes. Here we go. 5 seconds.
Things we added actually into the snapshot, so stay tuned to see what you can find in the latest snapshot. And getting into the survey results, I'll start with the settings. When asked how easy it was to update your resolution to match your monitor, the majority of you said it was very easy. With looting, when asked what you thought about the loot container open speed, the majority of the responses reflect that it was a bit too slow or in between with just being just right. The good news is we sped it up a bit for this snapshot. And the same goes for the weapon pickup speed and elevator interact speed with almost identical results. And we also dialed up the speed a bit on these interactions as well. For lighting, we asked how the lighting felt in this last snapshot, and the results leaned more towards it being too dark, which in the patch we lightened things up a bit. Verticality, the vertical elements of the game seemed to translate well within the community, with the majority of you rating it very fun. Proving ground map overall, we asked how you felt about the new map, and the results heavily leaned towards strongly like, which is great news. Feedback retrieval, last but not least, we asked how satisfied you are with the way we collect feedback, with most of you selecting very satisfied. So, as you all may know, we also opened up 2 more channels to provide feedback and information on bugs. Those 2 are in Discord. And then you also have
Difficulties aside.
The easier it is for you to share what you think, the better it is for everyone. And a big thank you again to you guys for submitting your feedback to us. As always, thanks for being a part of the existence, a vital part of the existence, and for taking the time to submit feedback, whether it's from the surveys, Discord channels, tweets, wherever. We want to know your thoughts, so please continue to share them with us.
So
thanks,
that
everyone.
was, yeah, we're just going to skip past
Kicking back over to Becca.
The feedback from the last snapshot, and we're going to kick into what's happening this snapshot here.
Yeah, just to reiterate, like, it's super important for you guys to fill these feedback forms out. They help us out a lot. They're
Let's
your
move this
chance
back
to
here.
let us know your thoughts and have them be
Well, it was
memorialized in a
here.
lovely Google Sheet for us to look at whenever we want.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great.
I mean, this is
And,
literally why we do it, right? It's like when we are having debates, like game development is all about discussions, debates, iterations, right? And normally that's happening in a closed room where very few people are a part of. And like we literally reference
there.
these
I know I'm
surveys,
fixing my
the feedback
stream
you
while
guys are
we're
getting in
listening to
Discord, the
this.
feedback you're saying on your live streams, clips that you're posting on TikTok, on Twitter. We sort of consume all of this. And when we're having debates, when we're talking about things, even if it's like small minutia things about how fast should a loot container open, how much risk reward should there be going to a healing station, how long should it take to do this or that, right? Some of the new mechanics you'll see.
I do that, yeah.
When we're debating
We'll
those
make it
things
smaller.
and Quinn and the team is trying to decide like the timing of stuff or the quickness of stuff
There.
or like things like that, or core to gameplay like TTK, referencing this feedback, having the ability to just go and be like, oh, so-and-so said this, or the mass community said this, or like 75% of the
We're here
users
for this,
this
right?
is so essential at these early stages. And it's literally why we are doing this. It's why we have chosen to build games in a harder way. Building games publicly, not easy. I'll tell you, man, building it live, it is not an easier way to do it, but I think it's a better way to do it. And this feedback and the way that we've been able to incorporate it, and the way that you'll see already in Snapshot 3, how much it matters to refining that core gameplay quicker than we normally would, it makes it all worth it. It makes the harder way, the harder road, far more beneficial in my opinion.
Well said, Rob. Well said. I got nothing else to add. That's like a mic drop, my man.
So we're gonna go basically from lootin' and scootin' to moving and grooving.
Ooh,
Moving and grooving.
Moving.
I
and
like
grooving.
that transition.
Yeah. All right. I see you, Becca. I see what you did. Yeah. So let's talk. So Snapshot
Been sitting
3.
on that one for about 2 minutes. So anyway.
You're sitting on it for 2 minutes. Hey, I'm fine with that. Sometimes we got to let that thing marinate inside as you're thinking about, hey, what am I going to say next? I'm with you on that. Yeah, so Snapshot 3, we're going to bring on some great people here on the dev team here for Jim and Ramon. They're going to talk about some of the cool new features about movement and how we iterated on what was Snapshot 2. And just to get a little bit into that, what Snapshot 2, what that brought to us is the feedback, the surveys, and we definitely have our heated arguments internally, right? We should do this. No, we should do that. And then we always go and reference the feedback forms. And sometimes we just put our ego aside, like, well, what are the variants? What do they want, right? And so that's why we see some of those things in there.
That's why.
Snapshot. And
that's the whole point of this, right?
We'll talk about that more a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, you got anything else cool or interesting you want to add to this, Becca? Because I know you always got something witty.
What? 2 witty things in a row? I'm not that good.
The well is dry.
Well, let's hand it to Jim. Jim's got so much to say.
So witty.
Jim and Roman. That's French pronunciation. So yeah,
Don't appreciate
let's
that.
just yeah, they're ready. Let's hear what they have to say.
Thanks, Becca. We are super excited to share the updates to player
Just a
movement in
little bit
today's
louder, right?
snapshot. In particular, we have vault, clamber, and slide, plus
Clamber.
2 new environment traversal options, ladder and zipline. So in designing these new traversal options, we were really working to make them emergent, so they don't feel like one-off opportunities. Rather, there's many ways to string together your moves, and as an example, you could jump from your zip line over to a ladder, and then jump from the ladder and land in a slide. So all in all, there's going to be a ton of new movement opportunities, and I am hoping to see lots of cool videos on social media. So here with me is Ramon, one of our world-class senior gameplay engineers, and he's going to talk us through the details of these new features. Take it away, Ramon.
Thanks, Jim. Hi, I'm Roman, and let me give you more details about some of those new features. So let's start with slide. In order to get into slide, you just press crouch while you're sprinting. We try to make it sort of realistic, and which means Basically, you'll be able to slide faster if you're going down the slope and slower if you're going up. You will also slide slower or faster depending on which kind of material you're sliding on. There is an extra thing that's I like particularly about the slide is that you can queue it up while you're falling or jumping. So just hit that crouch key and you will start sliding as soon as you land. Now on to Vault. So Vault allows you to traverse over low obstacles. It comes in two flavors, a standing vault and a sprinting vault. Standing vault, you're just standing right next to the obstacle, you're pressing your jump key. Sprinting vault, you're just running straight towards the obstacle, no need to press any key. However, you will need to have your weapon holstered. Holstering the weapons is something that we've added here in SS3. It's relevant for vault, clamber, and for the ladder, so don't forget how
Yeah.
to do it. It's pressing X on your keyboard or long pressing Y on your controller.
Yeah.
Finally, the zipline. To start ziplining, you walk up to a zipline
I love
and you
this.
look
Zip
at it and press
lines.
the
Oh,
inverted
this is gonna
switch.
be so fun.
You
Shooting
will go
someone
faster
while
if the
ziplining.
zipline has a bigger slope. And to dismount, you can either wait until you reach the end of the zipline, or you can jump while you're in the middle of it, which has the added benefit of going into the direction that you're looking at, which means you can, from a zipline, aim towards another zipline, or aim towards a ladder or a platform, and you can move between
Okay.
those as you want. That's all the details I can give you. I hope you have fun with them. We're looking forward to your feedback, and I'll see you in the next snapshot. Thank you.
Oh, baby, baby, baby. This is what I'm talking about. It's this little minutia, this nuance, the gameplay decision making that really starts to take a game from good gameplay to great gameplay. And we're just getting started on that curve, right? It's these little tactical decisions. And when you're making a game, especially a competitive game, one of those most popular phrases
I
there
cannot
is in
wait
game
for this.
design is easy to play, hard to master, right? Having that skill gap between the people who are just here to have a good time and the people who are really going to master the mechanics and the skills. And what I love about the stuff that we're introducing, like having to holster your weapon, right? The ability to holster your weapon, the requirement to holster your weapon to do these advanced movement speeds, right? To do these advanced movement abilities like the clamber and the vaulting over and using the zip lines, like stuff that's going to require second to second decision making of like, hey, do I want to put my weapon away and grab this zip line and make a quick exit? Do I want to take my weapon away, get the high ground on this guy, pull my weapon back out, right? This is the stuff that really starts to separate, right, the weak from the strong. And you're starting to see that in the playtest. You're starting to see like the skill players sort of gravitate towards the skill players, and then the other people starting to realize like, oh shit, like
Oh,
I'm gonna have to play it cool. I'm
meaning
gonna
of
have to
clamber
stealth
is
a
to
little
climb
bit, make sure I have
awkwardly
a
with,
better weapon,
or
find a weapon that fits my play
awkwardly or with
style.
the effort,
I
especially by
am
using
loving
both
this.
your hands and
When I
feet.
said earlier we've crossed the line, that's what I'm talking about, right? Once you move from foundational to starting to just scratch the surface of advanced features, advanced movement states, man, that personality starts to sing, right? And like I know, we're halfway to Snapshot 4. It feels like we're just getting started, right? Of expanding those abilities, expanding the ways to move around the map, and having these new things like ladders and zip lines and paths and
I know I have
sliding
so
down
much open
slopes.
space on the
Like
top.
I just love when gameplay engineering gives Brad a new tool to play with in the level design landscape, and then seeing Brad pick that up and run with it and start augmenting putting grounds to accommodate for them, man, I can't wait to see how people use that in the new map designs that Brad did.
Yeah, we're seeing it
Yeah.
already if you check it out and hop in there. And the thing that I love about this and listening to you, Rob, as these things have come online, is we've always talked about like when you play shooters, there's always something that's known as like the flank, right? You're flanking someone, and usually flanking is very much of a horizontal experience, but not in DEADROP. DEADROP is a vertical extraction shooter, and so we need to do everything we can to not make it so that people could only have flanking options horizontally, but how do we allow people to have flanking options vertically? So we're calling, that's why you have ladders and zip lines. Those are called the vertical flanking features of our game. And as a player, you need to understand there's an objective up there, or there's an
I do feel
extraction
like I
down
could have
there,
made
there's
this
an
little
enemy over there.
bottom
What
corner
do I
a
do? How
lot
do I
shorter,
process all these things? And we're trying to make it so that
but
DEADROP
it's
is very
okay.
much not just a Twitch type of shooter experience, but also a thinking person's game as well. People can succeed in dead drop, not necessarily having the fastest twitch muscles in their fingers and arms, but also how well they think and adapt on the fly.
Yeah. Outplay and
Yeah,
outshoot.
super well said. And unlike, we also saw on the feedback forums too that it was a pretty common response that people were like, I love Proving Ground, but it's huge, and like getting around is, it takes a while and it's tricky. So I think, yeah, for sure. I love the zip lines. But yeah, I know that was a very popular request too.
Yeah.
In the community.
Give
So,
you
yeah.
a little pro tip. Holster your weapon, toggle sprint, and slide. That trio, baby. That trio. You
And
talk about
queuing up sliding too.
all of this, which I just learned.
We're
Yeah,
just giving
I
away all
know.
the secrets. Let's let
All
it be a
right,
little
you figure
emergent.
it.
Let's
You
let
figure
people
you-
play,
You get in there and figure it out. No more pro tips.
Yeah.
Shut down.
No more freebies. Keep that. Zip it.
I didn't say anything. What are you talking about? No one listens to me
Becca,
anyway. It's fine.
hey, whenever this happens, Becca, I'm never talking to you, okay? You're my number one. I'm always talking.
I thought Rob was your number one.
No, I'm always talking to this cat over here.
Guy's always giving stuff away.
Stop! You're making me
You
red.
know what? Quinn, I like you so much. I would love to give you a glass of water. Are you thirsty?
Really? Oh, my throat is parched. Yes, please. Yeah.
Oh,
By all means,
they're
yeah,
going in
I'll
each
take
other's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, never mind. Okay.
Oh,
What? That's actually kind
That
of
was
cool.
so good.
That was
want different
Yeah,
perfect.
for my number one best friend.
I want different colors right now.
That is
Who do we
amazing.
have in the
Straight from the waters of Maui.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, Rob. You're
They planned that for sure.
just kidding.
We move on.
Obviously.
Well, speaking of Proving Ground and awesome ways to get around that we just introduced, let's hear from Brad, the Proving Ground wizard, mastermind. What do we want? What's his title?
Anything you want. Guru,
Ooh.
mastermind, sorcerer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Any of those.
Cool.
That's his official title at Midnight Society, anyways.
We
All
talking
right.
about
So
Brad?
here to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about Brad. Here to talk about Proving Ground is the Proving Ground guru, sorcerer, master himself,
Okay then.
Brad. Take it away.
Masturbator.
Thanks. This snapshot, we're bringing a lot of big changes to Proving Ground that you guys are going to see. We've really brought the map to the next level. And one thing that helps us to do that is, like Jim and Ramon mentioned, there are zip lines all over the place.
It looks
And they've been
beautiful.
positioned in a way to give players a lot of opportunities to feel like an action hero, to make a quick escape, or to jump off of the tallest building, grab a zip line on the way down, jump off of that zip line, grab another zip line. There's a lot of that, and I think it's a lot of fun. Another thing we added are some ladders that open up some of the choke points on the map. And then another major thing are the health stations, which there was a lot of talk about the health stations. And what we've done is we've basically positioned them around the map in locations that give players more of a difficult choice to make. Now there's more of like a risk versus reward thought process that you have to go through because of where they are. In other words, some of them are a little more exposed, and I think you'll notice that. And there are a lot of other changes, some changes to the layout of some areas that I think make areas play in a more interesting way. And even some other things that you guys will just have to find out for yourself. So let us know what you think. Thanks.
I just wish I could play.
Oh, I'm
Thanks,
here.
Brad.
Just looks so
I'm
awesome.
here for that Brad energy. That Brad
Looks so beautiful. Like
Oh,
seriously
love
though.
it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know
So
what to say to that. Strategy.
It's so good, man. He gives me so much life. He's so into it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
So for those of you who don't know Brad, like on a more human level, he did a really awesome LinkedIn post, a month or two ago, and he came from like the community marketing world, and like just put in so many hours learning development on the side, like taking courses, like he was like in school full time. I don't know. It was really impressive to just hear that career path trajectory, and I think pretty inspiring. For those of you who are trying to get into game dev, there are so many different routes you can take. Obviously starting in QA is always one of the most popular ways, but there's
Yeah,
just
learn it from somewhere.
I was really shocked to hear that.
You don't
And
want
then
to do it
seeing
just out of the
Brad
blue,
talking
right?
about what he does and like how his Bradergy, it's so obvious that he's just like really well suited for community stuff. And yeah,
Let's
awesome.
just say it what it is. Brad is a beautiful flower. He's blossoming right now. All right, let's just call it for what it is.
That's true.
And how many alliterative words can you say with B, man? You just keep
Brad
going.
is a beautiful bougainvillea.
Whoa!
There we go.
It's a flower that starts with B.
But one thing I
Big
would like
words.
to really call out about Proving Ground is something that from Snapshot 2 to Snapshot 3, we really were taking, it's almost like going from a Proving Ground to a playground, and what Brad has done to it with all the zip lines, the ladders. And we've done a lot with the zip lines. We've added a lot of them in there. And to be clear, that's not because it's very, we weren't very deliberate on saying, okay, there's this one here, this one there. That's not by design that every space in DEADROP is going to have tons of zip lines all over. We went overboard on zip lines intentionally to get as much reps as possible from everyone playing them so that we can get the best feedback as possible from people playing. We didn't want to just like have one or two there. Let's get this really hammered out. And that's, again, the beauty of this process. We're just putting this map, we're updating it, adding a bunch of features into it. Let's get all the feedback as much as possible from players. And then once we get all that, we could then have those zip lines placed more deliberately, more tactically, strategically, and not necessarily be all over the place. But right now, just go crazy with them.
Yeah, that's a great reminder that the Proving Grounds name is literal. It's about
Prove
proving out
yourself.
specific mechanics, specific new features.
Nah.
We want to make sure there's a lot of playtime in them with a lot of different scenarios so that when we get to the refiner state, when we get to that big, beautiful tower in the distance, we have refined, we've mastered, and we've had time to iterate on the mechanics, the abilities that you're going to see in the final game and final environments. Proving Ground is just about testing it out. So that's an excellent reminder that this is what we're
Also
here to do.
notice that it says Variant Guys
Right?
Series
This is the training.
3. It's very
This is the
Series 2,
preparation
but it's the third.
Beautiful destination in the distance.
It is the third.
100% as well. Chef's kiss. Yeah. But
That's my
what
apologies.
would make Proving Ground even more awesome? It's just like
more water,
more weapons attachments and different ammo types.
Quinn's putting the water back behind the camera.
So much to talk about. Which is why we have Ryan, aka Rat Boy, on to talk about all of that. So take it away, Ryan.
Hey everyone, I have a couple exciting updates coming to the character and weapon systems with Snapshot 3 that I'd like to share with you. First is our true first-person player character. This is a huge change. We had originally used a traditional FPS technique for representing our player character where there was a third-person model running around the world that other players could see, but from your perspective you were just a pair of floating hands holding a gun. This works well in some cases, but we wanted to take a more accurate and immersive style approach. Now there is only one full body model for the character, and what you see from your perspective is exactly what other players are going to see as well. This helps ensure that our gameplay and visual elements stay consistent. And as an added bonus, you can look down and see your own feet. Weapons are also receiving a lot of updates with Snapshot 3. The early stages of our weapon attachment and customization system is in. Starting with this build, you'll be able to loot and attach different optics to your guns and further customize your loadout. We've also implemented a consumable ammo system. All guns will require that the appropriate ammo type is in your backpack in order to reload while in the Proving Grounds. This won't affect the hideout or shooting range portions of the game right now. With these two updates, we hope to establish a good base for our loot and item economy and increase the weight of the decision making between engaging, looting, and extracting while in a match. That's just a couple of the most exciting things I've been working on for the past few weeks. Thank you all for your time and participation in this project, and as always, I look forward to your feedback.
That's
Oh, yeah.
actually awesome.
Oh, yeah. Listen. Here's the thing about what Ryan just said. Not the feet part, but everything else he said, right? This is one of those rare times where what this signifies down the line, stop, Quinn. What this signifies down the line is so exciting, right? It's like the fact that we have optics in the game now. One, fantastic. You can only put them on assault rifles.
But hey,
But
they're
what
there.
this means
It's
is
awesome.
that we are now in the foundational stage of that full weapon system, right? The ability to customize your weapon on the fly, eventually the ability to go back to the player hideout and fully customize your weapon.
This down a bit.
Like, this is the start of that, right? And normally you don't get to see something like this where it's just like, oh, the feature's not even done, but here's the testing of the feature, right? It's like, oh, can we get optics that can be attached to a weapon on the fly in the middle of the match? Yes, here it is. It's not every weapon, but it will be. It's not every attachment, but it will be, right? And like, I love that we're able to just get these, like, the first step of a feature in there. And like, I love weapon. Like, I will spend so much time noodling the build of my loadout. And so, like, I'm so excited that we are already at that point that we're scratching the surface of getting in that weapon customization, doing it on the fly. And then plus being able to put an optic, especially because our game, in the proving ground at least, has such long sight lines, being able to get some
Yeah, it's
solid
pretty
optics
far
in
out there.
really changes the way I move around the map. So, man, I appreciate Ryan. I appreciate the whole
Sorry, my
dev
foot's
team
itchy.
getting these in because, like, man, this is when it starts getting real fun. Loving it. And I get to see my feet.
Yeah. Don't
That's
forget.
You actually have a body now.
Yeah, the funny part of that, I mean, that really does add a lot, though. Like, we joke about the feet part, but what that brings is we went from an old, like, yeah, first person view to now true first person. And we don't need to get all the nuts and bolts of that, but, you know, just to give a shout out to Brighton Gardner, he's our lead tech animator, him coming on board. And he is just a master of this kind of stuff. The technical wizardry, I remember talking to him. There's things that he's teaching me that I didn't even know about. But when it's true first person, it just makes it so that the camera, how it interacts, it feels better, feels different. It's not just very much just like hands floating and camera, everything like that. It's very much, you feel some weightedness to the experience, even when you pan left and right, rotate your camera, everything there. It just gets us more into feeling to this weighted, grounded game that DEADROP is and what we're making. So I know everyone will definitely take notice of that when you're playing. It's not just being able to look down and see your feet, although that is cool. Then the other,
yeah, and it was also that was another feedback thing that we saw a lot in the written responses. People were like, just want to like see myself more, like when I'm looking down. So,
right.
Yeah.
And you'll notice it so much now that you're doing the advanced movement stuff, right? When you're climbing, when you're mantling, when you're going up.
Yeah, if you're gonna be
like,
sliding and
really
stuff, you need a body.
You know, how immersed you are in that experience, and also it gives us a 1-to-1 between that first person view, what you're seeing happening, and what everybody else is seeing happening, right? This is, you know, Quinn
More
might be able to speak to this as well, but this is something we experience a lot. A problem we had a lot back making traditional first-person shooter games is that disconnect sometimes, and a lot of work had to go into sort of trying to close that delta between what was happening in first person to you and your camera and what everybody else was seeing in the match, right? Sometimes it felt like there was an unfair discrepancy between, like, wait a minute, that guy wasn't aiming his gun at me, but then he shot me from his point of view, right? This solves a lot of that at the core, at the root, right? So besides just making it more immersive, I think it does a long way of like closing that gap between that first person, that third person experience that's happening in the rest of the world. And man, Brighton, he had a vision for this. Like when he was interviewing here, his day one, he had a vision for what it meant to be a true first person experience. and we went all in on it. And like, I'm loving it, right? It adds that weight, it adds that momentum gameplay that you're talking about, Quinn. And it feels good.
100%.
Yeah, cool. All right, so moving right along, we do have some UI updates as well.
Oh,
and,
yes, we do.
Kevin is here to talk about that.
We just read about some of those.
Thanks, Becca. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about our UI UX approach for Snapshot 3. going to talk about some of our, the bottom-up approach that we're taking with the UI. What we're doing for the weapons attachment system is kind of looking at, what are the needs of that system in order to basically put a face on it for players to interact with. So the way that I kind of do it from the ground up is start asking a bunch of questions like, what is this feature all about, and what do we need to communicate to everyone? So things like, how many weapon attachments are there? How many items are within that category? How many are we going to have on day one versus year 10? Can we cosmetically customize each of these? Could we build our own? How do we get these items? Do we find them, buy them, unlock them? Can we lose them? Can we view them in detail? Should we be viewed in 3D? There's just a bunch of these types of questions that need to be answered in order to build out our first day version and our 10-year, down the road version in order to make everything nice and scalable. So currently that's where we're at with Snapshot 3. We have a super quick pass of how to add your attachments to a specific weapon. And then as the snapshots go on, we're going to be building out that feature set more and more. We're going to add a lot, or start to answer a lot of those questions and to move forward into making something super cool.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin.
Man, I feel like saying that's a UI update doesn't do it justice, because it how your inventory works is so essential to the extraction shit, right? Is like how much can you carry? What are you picking up? What are you taking out? Right?
Like, you don't want to
really
just take
what the UI
everything.
updates that Kevin's talking about right now. That gets to the heart of that. We're not solving it entirely in SS3, but the fact that already weapons don't stack. Right? You're not going to have 357 pistols in one spot. Weapons don't stack. The fact that ammo has its own spot. The fact that there's a limit on how much ammo in a specific stack that you can take. All of that stuff, once we get the true backpack system that Kevin was teasing there, where you have to sort of Tetris and decide, like, all right, what can I fit? What can I take? Oh, I can squeeze a magazine in here. I have a spot for an assault rifle here. Oh, I found a bigger backpack. Great. Now I can take more stuff, right? That is essential to that core loop of a looter shooter, extraction shooter, anything that's about sort of deciding and making that tactical decision of, like, what do I need now? What do I want to take, and what do I want to try to get extract with? So we are, like, already getting deep into those systems. SS3 introduces a lot of the necessary stuff that we need for that system to work. And, SS4 right around the corner, basically, that is just going to sort of solidify that vision that Kevin just talked about.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%, brother. You hit it right on the head. There's the improvements here. If you are familiar with where we were at in Snapshot 1 to Snapshot 2 to Snapshot 3, you could see how things have been improved over time. And there's no place that's more clear than on the UX UI side. And we're not done. There's still ways to go. We got lots of stuff to accomplish there, but you'll see that when you go in and play now, you no longer have infinite ammo. That's pretty crucial. You got to go and find ammo.
It's not just a bunch of
You
bullets and a gun never ending out.
You could enter matches now without any ammo at all. So that's part of the experience. And we're just
go in and have to find a gun.
To the backpack system, and then we'll evolve in the backpack system, and we're just going to keep building on this thing more and more and more as we go.
Yeah, totally. So we just also wanted to remind you guys to submit questions to us using the hashtag Ask12am. So start sending them now,
I forgot to use the hashtag, but I did send in a question today.
We will get through as many as we can.
Nice.
And so are we ready to see some gameplay? Is that where we're at now? Should we do it?
We're playing, right?
Yeah, we're going to see what people are doing.
Cool. All right. So next up, we have a bunch of our devs are going to be playing DEADROP with some of your favorite streamers. So take a look, sit back, enjoy, start sending those questions, and we will be right back.
I'm taking a zip line.
Oh, I think that just broke my
Make
hand.
sure you holster your gun when you take the zip line.
Yeah, I went ahead and holstered it, man. Last time I fell all the way to the bottom.
This is
Yeah.
right here. This is where the firing range is.
Katie, are you all good?
No, my game's definitely bugged. I'm just having my mod clip it for them. I look like I'm running in
Whoa.
place with my shotgun, and I can't swap to any other weapon. It just
Dude, that definitely adds to the movement.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. So
Yeah,
it
I don't know
sounds
if it was
like
a bug or if I'm just
we are
crashing.
we're live, everybody, on the Midnight
Yeah,
Society
thanks.
live stream.
Hey, we're
You're
live.
welcome.
My
So
bad.
I'm gonna turn down this audio.
Yeah, this whole like menu
Okay,
thing
so
is
what's going on right now?
beautiful.
What's gonna happen right now is we being me and several devs and a bunch of friends are all playing. We're showcasing some of the map, and then we're gonna do that for about an hour or so, and then immediately after this, we're gonna go to a Q&A with I think Becca, Quinn.
So yeah, we're gonna be doing
That should be
Q&A. We're not gonna watch hours
Q&A
worth
with those guys.
of gameplay.
In preparation for the Q&A, you guys have about an hour to, on Twitter, if you have a question for them, tweet out your question with the hashtag Ask12AM, and then it'll be seen. So now's your big opportunity. Right now, you have time to send out a tweet with that hashtag, and then your question will probably be addressed in the Q&A. And then besides that, if you're a founder, you have access to the builds right now. You can play with us right now. You could kill us right now. Maybe. Maybe not. Probably not.
So here's where the Q&A
Can't
starts.
speak for everybody.
That's when I was able to tune in.
All right, I just gotta say something real quick. Whoever's above me right now, you're gonna get blasted with this rare AR I found on the ground. So get away.
I love your warnings before battle.
Okay,
I
I'm
feel like you're like, I don't really want to fight.
about to join a match right now.
Don't hesitate to say anything though. He's muted, but he's streaming at it.
Yeah. So let's see an actual. Let's check out an actual game here.
I hear him. I just don't see him. Chat.
About that before, and they said that
Where are
was
they?
something they'll add in eventually.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I hear him, but I don't see him.
Or we're all about to be crack
Got
aiming to readjust.
7 players left. All right, this is the start. Starting point.
Just take it all in there, Brad.
Spoken out a speaker.
Oh yeah, no, where my mod's doing all my little note keeping. It's great.
Praz, I'm gonna. Okay.
What?
I don't know if I should.
All right,
I just got a bug where let's say.
All those colors for the car, those look beautiful. That purple.
But I died. It's all good. It's all good. I didn't want to take advantage of that.
Yo, Bomber Jojo was good.
Yeah, that's okay. Going back in.
My true Overwatch.
None of that happened.
Somebody was looting. She's taking some shots.
16.
I got what is it? 8 players in mine.
Oh, don't shoot randomly. You remember you don't have very many bullets.
Died in mine already. It's only been like 2 minutes.
Don't run out of ammo. Can't see how much she has.
I did not exit that ladder correctly. Wow.
You're the person that was just shooting at that had no gun. You can
Right off the ladder.
I'm doing
Yeah,
a
she
stab
got him.
with this guy.
There
I'm
we
like,
go.
Marco!
Oh, wait, how did this guy lose?
Look at all those freaking guns.
I must love that pistol.
I don't know about all that. Ow! I'm
Oh.
shocked. Run away. I got abort.
Oh man.
Extract.
This is
Get
rough,
out.
guys. Are they on the lower? Where are they
So
at?
many zip lines. Oh my goodness. They're everywhere. It's awesome.
I think I'm getting hunted right now.
You can literally just go anywhere.
I'm too scared to use the ladder. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, red door.
It's scary. Yeah, I think.
The high places, man.
I think none of the ladders are too high where you'll just be stuck forever.
Oh, this one looked like
Oh, health stations.
It looks like death. That sounds awful.
I avoided it.
There's a 100% chance I'm about to die here. Oh god.
Are you saying you escaped death?
I escaped death. Yes.
Wow.
Ask me about your story. A movie near you, Netflix series. Escapes death. on
Straight
Deadlock.
to DVD.
Damn.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they added a lot of more healing stations here.
Starring Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, so we're just gonna start posting these on YouTube instead of just doing them on here. We're gonna actually start trying to make some content out of this, and you know we are sharing all this stuff on Facebook as well for friends and family to see, and gonna start posting some more of my own little stuff there on Twitter, so be tuned out and looking out for that stuff there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you really? Really?
Well, the knife.
Oh, I got the gun. Let's go, extract.
That being said, guys, you know,
I'm super bugged. My body
links
has
in the
this weird
description and
crossbow
stuff
now.
there. Appreciate y'all being here, checking
I
out the
can see
video.
my lower half and it
You know,
is
don't
separated
make
from
much
my upper
content
half.
on the
Sounds like a feature.
on like YouTube and stuff, so
Feature, not a bug.
you know, we gotta all start somewhere.
Midnight Society with the 5 gifty.
Damn.
Thank you. Much
Yeah, that should be
love.
automatic killing it. Right?
Fucking focus, dang.
I can't ADS. I can't shoot. I
Hmm.
can't.
Sounds
Oh
like
my.
a server bump again. If
Oh.
you have no,
Oh
if
yeah.
you can't stop weapons or pick up anything.
Bugging out.
Get shocked. My upper torso is facing one way and my body is facing the other way. Oh, yep, there we go.
Yeah, kicked out.
No, I'm not.
Yo, how do you
I got
use
kicked
the
out.
zip
It did get fixed in a way. Yeah.
Holster your weapon, and then when you go to the zip line, you gotta hold.
What button is that?
You just have to tap. You have to,
X on the
yeah.
keyboard. On the keyboard, yeah.
Square on
That's right.
controller, X on the keyboard.
And you have to look at the zip line.
Got it.
Earlier,
Don't try and jump before you press E.
You can. I was watching Doc stream earlier, and he was his first.
Yeah, it's switched over to someone else. We'll watch some of this.
We're not gonna go there. Don't worry about it. It wasn't embarrassing.
All right, guys, I have a great idea. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. What is it? What is it?
The dead.
I like it.
All right, okay.
What?
Sorry, I got this great idea. It's called the DEADROP challenge. How it works is you go in with nothing or a pistol, and you kill everybody with just a pistol or whatever you find
Ooh.
on the ground.
Yo, Cole, it feels better than it did last week.
Okay, that's fine.
So basically, what
I'll
you
do that next
do?
match.
Or, no, okay, let me redo this. Hold on, let's go back. The dead, where you only use a pistol and you kill everybody, and then you get all the loot at the end.
Okay.
There we go. I
You
like
can't
that.
get anything else. Kills
My
only and
foot,
ammo,
man.
That is it. You gotta kill
Sorry, my
somebody.
foot hurts. I did something to my foot.
You can pick up everything. No, you can
Well,
get kills. You can pick up everything, but you can
You can only use your
even though
pistol.
You have an AR.
They're saying going naked and then pistol on.
Pistol only. That's it. Collect all you can. Kill everybody is your mission though, and get the dead drop.
And what was it called? What were you calling
12
it?
players remaining.
The
Am I even watching this in good quality? No, why? That's so dumb. Why am I not watching this? Now, I guess when we were in the other one, it didn't matter, but now we're watching gameplay. We want the best quality.
Okay.
You can use any pistol though. It can be an automatic pistol or whatever, as long as it is a pistol.
Foot is so itchy. And because my nerves in it are so messed up.
That's what we're doing right now. First ever.
DEADROP challenge. Love it.
All right, let's go, chat. Let's get this. All right, the first ever dead drop challenge by your boy Next Era.
Yeah, I don't think other people have to adhere to the challenge.
I'm getting shot already. This is not good. And he has an AR, I think.
Oh my gosh, it didn't let me. Oh, RIP me. It would
All
not
right,
let me grab
chat.
the zip
All right,
line.
chat.
I died.
All right, this is gonna be difficult, but we got
Can't
this.
do custom lobbies yet, so that would be so fun if they could.
Oh, dude, let's go! Midnight Society, bro. With
Do you guys know? Do you have to
five
physically be
Jesus, my mind, dude. I'm focused on this guy right now who's gonna kill me. But you know what? Thank you so much, Midnight Society, bro. With 5 gifted subs. Can we get some hype in the chat, dude?
Jump up and look at it.
Thank you so much, you guys.
explain why I died?
All right.
That's
Dead
awesome.
drop challenge. Here we go. Someone's shooting me. I don't know where they're at though.
No, you just tap it to grab it.
Man, I had to turn them down a little bit to focus on this. Alright, so we are allowed. So, chat, here's the deal. Oh, we're gonna crash. Oh no. Oh no, we're gonna crash. It's okay. It's alright. Oh, wait. Are we? Are we? Yeah, we are. It's okay, chat. We're gonna come back. Alright, we're gonna come back. Alright, and then we're gonna do the dead
It's
drop
not a
challenge.
game that's out yet, so crashes are totally okay. They're to be expected, honestly,
I
sometimes.
don't know. It might or it might not. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, that's what happened to, what's her name, Kate.
Yeah, so it's resetting. We're good. We're good, chat. We're just gonna reset. We're gonna come back and do the first ever
DEADROP challenge.
by your boy Next Era. All right. No one's gonna do it first. No one. It's gonna be us. All right.
Know that the Snapshot 3
Let's go.
release was today?
Here we go.
You're like, what?
The elevator of success.
We'll see how this goes.
Taking us to prepare ourselves.
And then we'll go to the Q&A. And then if you guys want to check out the video there, I'll leave the link in the description. You guys can check it, or just go to YouTube and look up Midnight Society.
Let's go. We're gonna load in. All right, let's load in.
The link is displayed there, but it's not a clickable link. I don't know. I'll see if I can make it clickable.
So much for the 5 gifted subs. All right, let's load up.
I do have to step out for just a second again. Okay.
Some target practice.
If I come dead, then you're all in big trouble.
Just find some crates to
Is
hide.
that ammo? Yeah, 12 shots. Is that a guy right there?
Brad left us for Brad.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Cole. And this is like early access build.
Any pistol.
So it looks pretty good for that. Like I remember playing PUBG when it first came out, bro, and that shit was terrible.
Oh no.
I mean, weapons are just
Are you there?
rare. Many times I find myself like searching for a long time.
I'm not sure if Doc's even playing. Is he still playing?
Had to fix something, sorry. Yeah, it's a little.
Did it look as cool as it felt?
Yeah, it looked kind of cool, dude. I was gonna lie. I had a pistol, you know what I mean? So you walking around like that, I'm like, okay. I'm dead.
Yo, this gun is crazy looking.
That does look nice. All of this just looks
Does it
nice.
look like this, or is it like a polished build?
It's like Gandalf's what?
The Return of the King, where the sun comes over the mountain.
Oh yeah.
I would be I know, I'm sorry. That was better.
Excuse me, what did you just say?
Brad? Brad?
Same? Okay. I have 9 players in my game.
Brad was never really here.
That's my greatest mystery.
I don't know how to tell which other than that. Gun holster. See, that's what I'm saying. Like Apex.
No.
It does this. The running
Yeah,
speed
that
does exactly
slide
Apex.
looks a lot better, you know, with the actual body and stuff too.
Actually, there are literally.
I can't switch my crouch button yet, so it's on control right now. So it's kind of weird to slide like that. If you're wondering why I look like a bot. 13. Oh, he has a big game then.
Get all those ammo. All those different ammo types.
Yo, Big Philly. Hello, sir.
But I feel like the problem is I think I'm the intruder because I'm the one who moved in last, right in front of the other crowd. So I'm like, I don't know.
You're watching somebody stream a stream of someone else's stream. At least you can see who they are at the bottom there. I don't have to worry about giving credit to everyone.
Yeah.
I don't have links to their channels, but that's who they are.
Was working on Modern Warfare 2 in 2009. I got to play with him last time. He was cool. Katie, yeah, Katie's in here, and Swifter, and Stone Mountain.
Stone Mountain's in there. That's awesome.
Some people left already. Stone hasn't said anything though. He's muted. Or he's streaming it, I think. Hey, John, thanks for the follow, bro.
I don't think it did it. I have a ton of stuff right now from the matches we've been playing right here. I'm like you right now, Brad.
Okay. Because I was going to say, hey, another challenge.
Let's go see what happened to this challenge.
I want to find that scope again that I lagged out on. Look at that.
I'll take a $20 dono. What was that diamond he picked up? Whoa, what's going on there? They're like, yeah, nope. Yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and check that up there, you guys know where to find it. I'm gonna skip over to the Q&A.
One game. I mean, pretty much right.
Yes, everyone, and thank you for your questions. Let's get right into it.
Dive into it.
dive in head first. All right. So, number one question. It's up on the screen. Right. Much as I love the Proving Ground, when will we get our first look of the inside of the actual tower?
Oh, evil lunatic, man.
Would you like to know?
We are one. We're not telling you, but two, got a little tease of it at the end of this stream, little tease of it in the variant guide. So we're at the point that we're teasing it. So that's good news.
Getting there.
But yeah, I think we're all right there with you, right? Like Proving Ground is our place to test stuff out, to prove out.
But we want the tower. We want the real thing.
As a community, that we like how everything feels, and then it's time to take it into the tower. But the tower, like, and I think how we feel, me and Quinn, I think how we feel is that once you get to the tower, it's the real. Like, this is still fucking around. Like, once you get in the tower, that's the game, right? That's when we start talking about, like, the things that are starting to solidify, the things that are starting to harden. Like, it needs to feel good. It needs to feel good beginning to end from the whole flow of, like, oh, I'm in the game. I've started. I've prepared my stuff in the player hideout. I'm loading into a match. I play a match. I bring stuff out. Like, it needs to be a complete thing before we get to the tower, in my opinion. I think that's a universal feeling.
Yep. Yeah. Once we get there, the way we're looking at it is there's no looking back. And so it's important to get all the stuff that we want ready to go. Now, not everything needs to be done. Obviously, we're not saying the game has to be done. But what we are saying is that we want a little bit more of our core foundational systems to be stood up and ready to rock, in addition to the actual play space itself. So the play space is under heavy construction right now. We're having our play tests on it internally. Super excited about it. We love it, but there's still a long way to go. But yeah, we're gonna be showing you more of the tower here soon-ish. I don't really want to say much more than that. But
so cryptic.
Stay tuned for sure.
So cryptic. No.
Hit us with another one, Becca.
All right.
Oh, let me read this one.
Yo, 12 a.m. I love that opening.
Everybody killed it.
Is it possible the weapons included in our Founders Pass will eventually be the first equipable weapons included in the garage? So let's start with that part of the question. This is a multi-part question.
Yeah, I think I just interpret that a little bit. I think the garage and the hideout and the weapon bench, that's kind of all being brought together a little bit there. So I'm just going to treat it that way. But yeah, definitely possible. We are doing everything we can to not
just go in with the shotgun.
What we call
is
throwaway work, right? We're not trying to do a lot of stuff where we're just getting stuff out the door just to try things. Anything that we are trying, things that are in game, for the most part, we're doing everything we can to make sure that it is going to be there and it's not throwaway. We're not wasting anyone's time, both internally and your time as players either. So yeah, there's a high chance that the weapons that you're playing in the Founders Pass, as you say here, is going to be weapons that you're going to be playing day one with people that don't have the Founders Pass. So
Mike,
yeah, so I'll leave it at that, and that we're not going to
YouTube search bar now
be exactly as they are. There are going to be differences for sure, tuning, visuals, all that kind of stuff. But the core of them, absolutely.
Yeah, I want to chime in here. I think Duncan is actually talking about the weapons the variants are holding in their
even better
in their images.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Dude, let's talk about that.
Yeah, and I think that is like, you know, we have like
I don't even know why that happened or when that happened. Has it been like that the whole time?
Right? And then we have the
I don't
stuff
think it
that
has.
is inside the game. We know the variants are
Like what happened?
Their debut in the game, right? Like
why did this get smaller?
Stuff. We're finding ways to incorporate that. The weapons stuff we haven't talked about, like if those exact weapons that the variants are holding in the PFPs are going to make it in the game, but I think we definitely like those designs, and I think it also might end up being something like that. Might just be a cool trophy to put in your player hideout, even if it's not a playable, usable gun, right? Like I think having like that as a trophy or a display or a customization option, so that people can go to your player hideout and see like, oh, you have that, right? That means you had to have a Founders Pass. I think stuff like that is really cool.
Yeah, I totally misinterpreted this question. I think this question went from good to just great.
What?
'Cause I like this question even more now that we're talking about your PFP that you have. So that's super interesting.
Yeah, that's what.
Rob understood this. It's okay, Quinn. Don't worry about it. No, it's really cool, and it's something too that we've seen a lot on the founder feedback forums where people are like, I want to be able to show off my like variant stuff in the hideout. So yeah, whether it's in the garage or somewhere else, I think that's awesome.
I don't think it got fixed, but it's whatever.
Okay, so the next part of this question is how forgiving will the game be to all of the gear that I loot? Will I lose my gear in battle?
All of it.
Can I hold my treasures in the garage?
There's 3 questions there.
Right.
I mean, the last two are definitely. Will I lose my gear in battle? If you die, yes.
You lose it if you die.
That is true. And then, can I hold my treasures in the garage? I love that you use the word treasures because one person's treasure may not be another person's treasure, right? So we really like that. And yeah, we want to find a way that you could showcase your loot, your things like that. And then just that other question, how forgiving? I mean, I would interpret this as like we are still trying to fine tune those knobs of loot pools and how often things show up, and we're trying to figure all that out and try to tune that appropriately. But just think about that in the previous question, when we get to see the tower is going to be filled with all sorts of different places, and some of those places are going to have different kind of loot available. So as a player, you're going to want to choose which areas of the tower you want to go to based on what your goals are for that play session. So that is a big open box for us, and we're excited to continue to explore on how forgiving or hardcore we are with loot. Some is going to be pretty forgiving, some not so much, and it's always going to be a slider that we're going to be tweaking and tuning.
Yeah, I think Duncan also stumbles on a really interesting topic, right? Which is with an extraction shooter, as we talked about, of like, hey, if you get killed and another player loots your body, right, they're going to take stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, they only have so much space in their backpack, just like you could only bring in so much stuff, right? So what they take, most people aren't going to have space to take everything, right? They
This
can't
was
take
actually
everything
when I
from
tuned
every
in.
kill they get in a match because they just don't have the inventory for it, right? So there is just naturally going to be stuff, money left on the table, right? Stuff that got left around, and that all that stuff that gets left around in those drops that got unlooted by the people who killed them, that is what creates the dead drop. So all that loot gets pulled together into the dead drop, and then the victor gets to choose the spoils of war from that dead drop. Now, the really interesting question there, right? All that is awesome. But the really interesting question is like, okay, what happens to everything else? Right? It's like, oh, I got killed. Some of the stuff got taken by a player. The rest of it got put into a dead drop. Only some of that stuff got taken from the dead drop. That's still a lot of loot to be had. I think that's where really interesting things like, you know, the people who work in the refiner states, who's sort of cleaning up, who's taking stuff, right? They're accumulating all this stuff. What happens to all that loot? Does it resurface? Is there an opportunity to get it back? That's a lot of the conversations we're having. So if you have ideas, you have thoughts about that, the stuff that wasn't looted, right? Because once it's looted, it's gone. That dude earned it. He took it. That's his now, right? But all the other stuff, what are some cool ways that we can sort of resurface that? You know, maybe there's ways to insure items where you could get it back, guarantee you get it back if another player didn't take it. Maybe there's some trading with the NPCs that can happen because they collected it at the end of the match. Like, there's a lot of really cool directions we can
previously unlooted guns,
right? And like, as we talk about right now, we're discussing.
That's actually not a bad idea.
We may or may not have answers to it. We might have a direction we want to try first. But if you have ideas, by all means, shoot them at us because that's the kind of stuff that we
that's actually a pretty good idea.
It's gonna help. It's gonna sway Quinn's opinion, right? You might say something that like sparks something. He's like, "Oh shit, that's a great idea." Like while we were watching the gameplay, we already saw people chatting about stuff in the chat, in both our Midnight Society chat and Doc's chat. And I was screenshotting it, sending it to Quinn. I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." He's like, "Oh, that is kind of cool. I don't like this aspect of it, but this." It's like that's how it happens. Like no joke. That is literally how it happens. Like it could go from that of like we see a great ideal, Quinn likes it, he gives it the green light, gameplay engineering implements it, we put it into a snapshot, you guys fucking like it. It's in the game, baby.
That's how it's
done. Great question, Duncan.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, sounds like Quinn just holds the keys to the kingdom over here.
Quinn's baby. I'm just here to birth it.
Right?
Yeah.
You got the king, and then the person that
So
speaks for
along
the
those
king.
lines, yeah. Ugh.
Let's go to the next question.
Next question.
Anybody want to see my feet?
No one wants to see that.
All right, next question.
Literally no one. All right. I may have missed this during the live stream earlier, probably not. But were we wiped for Snapshot 3?
No. It's clean and simple. No. We talked about it internally. Lots of discussions there. For the future, we're definitely considering it because we do want to have that. That there's that fine line of people investing and working on stuff, and they don't really want to lose it. But at the same time, we need to keep testing out our systems of, like we mentioned before, like rarity and loot pools. And it's going to be difficult to do if we let people just continue to hoard more and more stuff. So that's something that we're looking at potentially doing for Snapshot 4, where we just give everyone a clean slate, because we're going to have more systems come online for Snapshot 4.
You didn't see anything from.
And we're going to need to have that.
I heard people say that they didn't have anything.
But definitely open to feedback and listening to everyone as well.
Yeah, and so I will just say expect wipes, right? It can happen. It probably will happen deliberately, maybe a few times between now and persistent online cloud saving coming online. So we know for a fact everybody's getting wiped once we move over to the online
store,
saving persistent inventory. But right now it's all stored locally, so it is possible for that local file to get lost, and we will probably do a wipe before the online. So I would just say don't get too emotionally attached to your stash right now. Enjoy the process of looting as we test out these systems, but there will become a point where that does not happen anymore, but we are not there yet.
I feel like you read my mind somehow with like which question we were gonna pull up next, since you just talked about the cloud-based system. So yeah, so I know you just said this, but just to reiterate for Helmet Fire here, and then the second part of their question about cloud saves was, if not, will we get to collect comics in later snapshots?
Yes. So we introduced the remainder of the issues of the Dread Drops, the Penny Dreadfuls, and so now there's 15 total, 3 series of 5 each, all with their different rarities. Those are going to persist through, so you can collect them now. Even after a wipe, they're still going to be in there, so you might have to restart your collection after a wipe, unless we find a clever way to save them. But expect that they're
I feel like if you find the books, you should be able to keep the books.
I feel like there's history there. Quinn's like, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna dive into it? I'm not gonna dive into it. I'm very excited about those issues.
Me too. All right. Will there ever be an automatic loot sorting button?
Kevin?
You want to hit up Kevin right now?
Kevin? Send that to Kevin.
Yeah, that's a
Quinn's
good one.
got a direct line to Kevin, right?
I do. I
Is
always.
he just like living in your house or something?
Yep. I talk to him on the reg. But yeah, this is another one of those features that we just love to hear more about and let us know. And yeah, it's just something that we got to put on the list and have discussions about, to be honestly. And something with that's key about this question is I have something that I like to say, and that is I never say never. So a question like this is like, hey, will there ever be that? Is like, you know what? Not going to say no, not going to say yes. But what we will say is that these kind of features are important for us to hear about so that we could discuss them and find ways, times and places to get them slotted into the development schedule. But anything like this is like, yeah, we will never say never to something like this.
That's good.
Yeah. I also feel like, I wonder if this feature is going to become unnecessary once inventories are limited. Right? Like right now, your backpack could be infinite. But very soon, once the backpack system is on, you're only going to have a finite amount of things to worry about. But that might be something that, becomes a necessary feature for your stash. So in your player hideout, once all the stuff you've ever collected and not taken to a match, maybe that could have some smart filters to it. It's a good idea. It's a great suggestion. Honestly, I don't think. I'm sure Kevin's thought about it. He thinks about it, but I don't think it's on our radar yet.
Ooh. All right, now that we have consumable ammo and the new first-person models, is there talk about adding melee combat in an upcoming snapshot?
There's like
I've been
12,
eyeing those variant katanas.
20
Really,
minutes
please?
left. I was curious.
We do need to talk about this more. There hasn't, to be perfectly honest, we have not talked about it too much. But again, it's not because there's a hard rule or desire to know on those things. It's just something that is just not as high priority as some of the other foundational systems. But something like melee combat there's an interest there, people internally as well as externally. That's just something we got to fit in the pipeline. But and also it's kind of tough. You like to do first person melee combat. It can be tough at times, and we don't want to take anything on that we aren't going to do. We aren't confident we're not going to do a really good job on. So that's why we're still trying to think about that one and how to do it the right way.
Yeah. And I think you've made the right decision. I think early on, where we're at right now, the priority has been very much on gunplay. Because let's figure out all the gunplay systems, right? All the gunplay movement, abilities,
That's what they've been doing, right?
ADSing, attachments on guns, all of that stuff has been like the number one priority. And we're still chugging away on that. And I think once that is buttoned up to a state where it's in that stage where it's like, all right, we have all the base gunplay stuff that we're really happy with, and we're just going to
I didn't even know my ringer was on.
Then it sort of becomes like, oh, what are the secondary combat mechanics? And that, I think, in terms of us being a core first-person shooter, that's really where melee falls. But I'm with you too, man. I even though I agree that we need to nail the gunplay before we worry about melee, I want melee so bad. I want it. I just want to punch a dude right in the fucking face.
Okay, so apparently Midnight Society
That's
is
grill. Just right in there, right in the tooth.
You don't want to use an obelisk?
Oh my god, that's a whole new feature, Becca. Beat people
Inside
to death with your own loot.
That's pretty cool.
Mean, it doesn't have a use yet. Just saying.
That would be awesome.
Pretty
I don't know how Jim would feel
savage.
about that if we're using his obelisk to beat people to death.
Yeah, that's
Obelisks are
probably a
of
no-go.
love and magic.
And beauty. It's true. All right, next question. My founders pass when? When? My hardware can handle it, so that's good. Okay. This person is just waiting to get in on the feedback. So
yeah.
Do we know when we're going to be adding more?
When can I get it? Now.
We don't. The short answer is we don't know when we're opening it up. But I
mean, it just came out.
Telling me it's time
Why
to
is
start deciding. It's not time to open it, but it is time to start deciding when we are going to open it. Like, I don't know. When's the right time? Is it the tower? Like, do we open it for the tower?
I feel like yeah.
This is an open-ended question.
Yeah, we gotta have that discussion. To your point, I listened to your gut, Rob. You know, your gut's always right.
Yeah, this is like what I was listening to earlier.
I also feel like, you know, I said earlier in the stream, and you guys have been watching Doc play and the devs play today, and like I said this, like I feel like we've crossed the line. I feel like we are now at a point where you only want to let certain people in when it's super early, because like listen, it requires like what we refer to in the industry as dev goggles, right? You have to be able to look through the lens and be like, oh, I see what this is going to be like. I see what this is going to look like, right? It's like, yeah, it's rough right now. It doesn't have the
but it'll get better.
I see what it's going to feel like. But we're starting to get into that point where you need less and less dev goggles. And I think that's at those stages when you start crossing those lines is when you can start opening it up to more people who are going to be less forgiving about like the fact that something's not arted or animated. And so I feel like we've crossed the first of many of those lines. So, yeah. Sumit, let's open it up. What do you think? Let's do it.
Get him on here.
Yeah, now bring him in!
Yeah. All right. Next question. Will there be a system, or are there thoughts on a system
to buy ammo.
weapons using
Yeah,
some kind of collected currency.
they were talking about that earlier.
Yes.
It's in the
of
snapshot
course.
as well.
Lots of thoughts on our side, lots of systems that we're trying to design for that. But I mean, sheesh, Rob, this is something I know you're super passionate about.
Oh man, if you have been in every meeting I've been in the last week, like we are right now building the foundation, the ins and outs of that whole economy, right? Because really it's an economy. Like economy is more than just buying cosmetics, right? The economy of XP, the economy of like, oh, what do I find in crates? What do I earn? All right, I'm out. Like, can I trade with NPCs? Can I trade with other players? All that happens with like in-game currency of stuff I've earned or I found in the match, right? We're not talking about real money. We're talking about gameplay stuff. And those systems are huge. That economy is big because this game has so much. It's going to have so much loot, right? Loot to customize your weapon, loot to customize yourself, loot to customize your vehicle, loot to customize everything. Like it is deep. It is an ocean of stuff, right?
Oh my
And like
god,
you're
it's
gonna find that,
glitching.
you're gonna trade that stuff, you're gonna get all of it. And like that gets to the heart of it because it's not just about, you know, finding everything in match. There's gonna be some stuff where you're like, oh, my buddy found 5 of those and he wants to trade it with me, right? So that's stuff you're gonna do outside the match though, right? The match is about getting kills and looting, earning stuff. And then outside the match, when you're in a player hideout, when you're dealing with NPCs, you're dealing with other players, that's when you can start doing the wheeling and dealing.
Sorry, hopefully that fixes it.
Love it.
You see how animated I'm getting? That's because we have Henry on staff now. I couldn't do that before.
No.
But now that we have a full-time animator, I can be animated.
We should all be more animated. I like that.
Due to technical difficulties, I think we're just going to go ahead and call it here. So do that. I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you guys on the Twitch stream. You guys stick around for the raid. You guys have a great night. Thank you again for coming out. We'll see you guys here on the next stream. If you guys want to go listen into the rest of that Q&A, there's like 10 minutes left on it. Yeah, everything just stopped working, you know, but you know, good, great freaking information from tonight. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to see more. And yeah, stay tuned, guys. Check out the Twitters, check out the Facebook posts if you're on there. There's lots to come. You guys have a great night. Thanks. Embrace the darkness.